Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Sunday evening, December 3, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what that's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future other than your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that we have that ridge of high pressure dominating the entire Atlantic basin, sending all of that easterly flow of trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. We can also see that we still have that cold front still affecting portions of the Gulf of Mexico as well as the southern and eastern United States. And it has induced a trough right there across portions of Florida and the eastern Gulf. We can also see another trough right here that stretches all the way from the northeastern Caribbean all the way up into the southwestern Atlantic, as well as a cold front right there to the north of the main development region. If we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front, the cloud associated with that trough. We can also see the clouds associated with that cold front that's to the north of the main development region, and the numerous troughs that are still plaguing portions of the main development region with some amount of clouds, showers, and thunderstorms. We can also see that flow of low-level clouds pushing from east-west from the eastern to the western Caribbean, all courtesy of that easterly flow of trade wind brought about by that ridge of high pressure. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Sunday. So if you remember yesterday's video, we're talking more and more of what's going to be happening regarding the dry season from December through to February, even although the dry season is actually from December through to April. But we made mention of that tweet by Ben Knoll, and we also spoke about the fact that on Sunday, from the east to the west, it would have been a sunny to partly cloudy day for the most part. No eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. And we can see for ourselves for today, when we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica, we had a more and we have sunny to partly cloudy day across the island. As we can see, more and we have some partly cloudy skies across inland areas of some central and western parishes. Much of the same on the infrared satellite images. No high cold cloud tops that indicate cumulonimbus clouds whatsoever. Even on the Cuban Doppler radar images, we don't see much to worry about at this time. All we see with the greens, reds, yellows across northern Jamaica is ground clutter is definitely a glitch. So hopefully we get that Jamaican Doppler radar sorted, or we don't have that in the way of ground clutter. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see we have 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by 3 a.m. on Monday, early morning Monday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As relates to the temperature forecast, we can still see that it's the western and northwestern portions of the basin that still have the more and we have oranges and reds that represent above normal temperatures, which explains why at nighttime these days Kingston is much cooler than Montego Bay, where we have more of those oranges. And for 18th on Monday, as this map is showing, this is valid for 1 p.m. on Monday when we calculate it to Jamaica time. We still see Jamaica embedded in some slight yellows and oranges that represent 1 to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperatures for the month of December across Jamaica are about the same as 87 degrees Fahrenheit. When we take a look at the thermometer, 87 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Monday. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can still see a lot of dry air across majority of the Caribbean, including Jamaica, as represented by those yellows and slight oranges, as we can see it under the key at the bottom. But we don't see that robust dry air, those reds and whites within those reds at all. Majority of that is closer to Africa. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, you can see that majority of the Caribbean is in the clear, including Jamaica, as all the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is across portions of the eastern main development region, and Africa is represented by those browns. As we can see by the wave forecast, surrounding the island we have more and we have blues. And when we take a look at the key on the bottom right, those blues are representative of 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights, even close to 2 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are not going to be that strong at all. All we see are more in the way of greens and some slight blue colors that represent anywhere from 10 to 20 knot winds. And we can see the flow coming in from the east. And we can also see that we're going to be having less of that wind across southern Jamaica. So if there's a chance of some air piling up, some of those cumulus clouds piling up and then getting heavy, the chances of it taking place across southern Jamaica are much higher. So whatever afternoon rainfall that's expected is going to be affecting southern parishes. And we know southern parishes, we're talking about St. Thomas, St. Andrew, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland. And if we take a look at the rainfall forecast now, so starting in the morning, we can see that 11 a.m. we do have some slight consensus with where the blues that represent rainfall across Jamaica are located. So the Euro model for 11 a.m. is showing some of those blues that represent rainfall across northern Jamaica, maybe Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and it ties in well with with the towns and city maps. What does the GFS show? Do we have agreement with what the Euro is showing? We see the St. Anne and the St. Mary embedded in blues, but not St. Thomas and Portland as we can see on the GFS. So we do have some contrast, even although we have some similarities. So who knows? Maybe some northern parishes, maybe some eastern parishes. We shall see exactly what unfolds with that. Skipping ahead to about 2 p.m. on Monday now, we can still see some contrast. Look at this, the Euro model showing more blues that represent rainfall across western Jamaica, maybe some southern parishes, who knows. Kingston right there. This is 2 p.m. GFS for 2 p.m. is showing something different. Not so much western Jamaica, maybe inland areas of western Jamaica, but more in the way of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, sections of St. Mary, Portland, St. Thomas is what we're seeing forecasted by the GFS. So we do have some contrast. It's going to be interesting to see which one of the models actually take the cake with the forecast on Monday. Skipping ahead now to about 4 p.m. We still see that we have some contrast, even though we're getting more in the way of agreement. So southern parishes, western Jamaica on the Euro, not so much on the east or the northeast side for that time. And on the GFS, more do have southern and western parishes, so some consensus, some similarities, but we see some of eastern St. Mary, sections of eastern St. Anne, that is, sections of St. Mary, western Portland, not so much for St. Thomas at all, or eastern Portland. But look what we see out to sea, some blues to the east of St. Thomas, who knows, maybe some of that might make it on shore during the afternoon, late afternoon hours. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with these rainfall maps. We don't see this much disagreement with the modeling at all. There's gonna be an interesting day of weather on Monday. We shall see which one of these models actually win. Either way, as it relates to the accumulated precipitation forecast, both the Euro and the GFS are forecasting rainfall, even although it's not that much, only some slight greens. Euro showing up to 0.17 of an inch of rainfall, GFS showing up to 0.21 of an inch of rainfall across portions of the east. So we'll see exactly what unfolds with that. Either way, we're in December. We're in the dry season. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get before we head into the peak of the dry season and we're, begging for more rain to come. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can still see all of those troughs bringing showers and thunderstorms to the waters of the main development region. Some of these making its way into portions of northwestern Guyana, eastern Venezuela. Some low-level patches of clouds still coming in from the east to affect sections of the eastern Caribbean. Some of these clouds making it as far west, heading into portions of northern Nicaragua, eastern Honduras as usual, section of Belize, the Yucatan Peninsula. Section of the northern Yucatan Peninsula definitely gotten on some strong thunderstorm activity today, and we could see it even better on the rainbow satellite images right here that showed all of those high cold cloud tops, oranges and some reds in there as well. So they definitely gotten on some decent thunderstorm activity across sections of Mexico or the Yucatan Peninsula today. Now, if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we do see that as of right now, we still have some green to represent some light to moderate rainfall, still affecting the waters in and around St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique. Skipping ahead to the Barbados radar, we don't see much happening across St. Lucia right now, but some isolated pockets of showers could make it into the island later on tonight. We can see a line of showers passing to the south of St. Vincent, heading into the Grenadine Islands. Some of these bands might make it into sections of Grenada, Tobago, maybe eastern Trinidad later on tonight. And if we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see all of that rainfall that we just mentioned across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, some of it spilling into sections of northern Guatemala, as well as sections of Belize. And we can also see that rainfall that we just mentioned across sections of Guyana and eastern Venezuela. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for 18th on Monday, this is actually 1 p.m. on Monday, and we do still see that we have anywhere from average to slightly above normal temperatures, stretching all the way from the eastern to the western Caribbean. While as it relates to the Sahara and dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Monday, majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear, as all the dust associated with the Sahara Desert is across the eastern main development region and Africa, as represented by those brown colors. As well as the wave forecast, we still have much of the same. More of those blues dominating majority of the Caribbean that represent 1 to 1.5 or even 2 meter wave height, while those purples are starting to affect portions of the eastern portion of the Caribbean islands, as we can see right there. Not to mention the waters to the far south of Jamaica, north of Panama and Colombia. I will know that's representative of 2 meter wave heights up to 3 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be strongest right there. So we can see on the wind map that we have more in the way of yellows that represent up to 25 or even gusting to 30 knot winds coming in from the east, especially to the north of Panama and Colombia. Some of this across the eastern Caribbean islands is definitely going to be something, to take precautions about whichever pilots are flying out to the eastern Caribbean these days with these strong easterly winds. But we can see that more of those greens that represent 20 knot winds are dominating majority of the Caribbean. As relates to the rainfall forecast now, we do still see that we have the consensus that we have that rainfall to experience across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, sections of northern Panama, western Colombia, sections of northeastern Venezuela, northern Guyana, sections of French Guyana as well, getting in on some of that rainfall, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, more in the way of rainfall across Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda, sections of St. Kitts and Nevis. Those very areas that we just mentioned on the satellite images and the Doppler radar images that are currently receiving rainfall now. So these maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Monday. Not saying that it's going to be raining all the way up until then, but from now up until then, there's going to be rain sometime within that time period. If they're not already getting that rainfall right now, it's going to be coming before 10 p.m. on a Monday. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS models are showing something similar like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.